This is Chapter 17, Discussion Number 5, Post-World War II Creations. As the allies of the Soviet Union, the United States, and Great Britain were racing across Europe in order to defeat the German nation, they discovered many of the German death camps, where Germans were exterminating Jews and other undesirable races. So after World War II, the Allies created the Nuremberg trials, where they tried the German leaders and German officers for the atrocities that were committed underneath their leadership and their direction at these death camps. While many of the German leaders were saying that they were simply following orders, the response by the Allies was that these were crimes against humanity, and that any human being should have never have complied with these orders because they were so heinous. However, most of the German officers were given life sentences or executions for their roles in the death camps and the other atrocities of the German Reich. The Allies split up Germany amongst themselves to implement new governments and to establish free Germany, free of Nazi influence. If you look at the map here, you see that France gets a slice, the United States got a slice, Great Britain got a slice, and the Soviet Union also got a slice of Germany. And the idea is that as they administered these areas, as they led up toward a new government being formed in these areas. Japan, on the other hand, was under complete United States jurisdiction, who created power directly through the Japanese people in the form of a constitution, instead of working through the emperor. Now, they did not depose the emperor. In fact, Japan still has an emperor. However, the emperor is primarily a figurehead that is a symbol of Japanese unity with no political power, in the same way that the United Kingdom's queen doesn't have really any political power. Another creation after World War II was that of the United Nations, a beefed-up version of the League of Nations that Wilson had tried after World War I was created after World War II. Any nation that had declared war on Germany before Victory in Europe Day was declared to be a member of the United Nations. Any country after that was required to apply for a position in the United Nations and then had to be accepted. All member nations have a vote in the General Assembly. Again, this is the League of Nations idea of why can't we all get along, get together, discuss the problems instead of using guns. However, one of the big differences with the United Nations versus the League of Nations was the creation of a Security Council. The Security Council was created with 5 permanent members: the United States, the Soviet Union, Great Britain, France, and China. 10 other nations on a rotating basis got to be a part of the Security Council. The Security Council has the power in order to send troops to any nation in the world in order to impose its will or to protect the innocent in whatever happens to be going on in that part of the world. The United Nations, for the last several decades, have been sending peacekeepers of troops to go where conflict of civil wars have the opportunity occurring or are actually occurring, in order to provide security and safety for the civilians who are in the area and to prevent additional conflicts perhaps between 2 warring factions. The Security Council actually was able to act in preventing the Korean War from becoming a complete disaster. North Korea attacked South Korea. The Security Council acted, saying that this was an inappropriate use of force, and they actually sent armed military to Korea in order to defend the existence of South Korea. It's the only time that the United Nations has actually stepped into a war and acted as a war. However, the United Nations does act frequently in trying to keep sides separate and that type of thing. The United Nations has also created the World Health Organization, which has helped taking care of refugees. Also, World Health Organization has been successful in completely eliminating smallpox as a disease in the world. They have kept some samples in an ultra secure location in case smallpox could be determined to be a helpful idea in dealing with maybe even a deadlier disease that might possibly be discovered later in history. So the United Nations has functioned and the Security Council has become the muscle of the United Nations, and has succeeded in many ways where the League of Nations did not. This concludes discussion number 5, post-World War creations.